Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified. What is going on? Stephen A. Smith has come out and he said that Gervonta Tank Davis is top five, that he's a top five pound for pound fighter of this era. And is Stephen A. Smith exaggerating? Is he telling the truth? I mean, Gervonta Tank Davis is star power. This dude is explosive, elusive, ring IQ, has all the goods. You know, he's a very talented fighter, a very good fighter. There's one thing that, in my opinion, that's holding him back from being a pound for pound fighter. It's accolades. Accolades, his age. He's at the age of 29. He's about to be 30 years old, and he has no accolades to show for it. He literally has nothing for you to be like, yeah, this dude is a world like like a true champion, and he has all the skills, he has everything, but it's just not fighting the right opponents at the right times, right? And I think that that's what's holding him back. Now, I think his next fight is definitely gonna be Vasily Lomachenko, and he's gonna defeat Vasily Lomachenko. In my opinion, I don't think that Vasily Lomachenko at his age is going to be able to beat a Gervonta Tank Davis just because of power alone. Uh, Gervonta Tank Davis is a very slow starter. He allows you to get comfortable, get confident, and he could take your punch. And that's another thing that he does have. He has a good chin. Gervonta Tank Davis has a lot of great qualities inside of the ring. I mean, there's nothing that you could really be like, oh, well, Gervonta Tank Davis is doing this and doing that. If you say that, yeah, he's not defensively sound, I mean, truly, he's not the most defensively sound guy out there because he does get hit a lot, but he's also very patient, right? And that's where his lack of defense comes in. He's a very patient fighter. So I think that it kind of comes hand in hand. It kind of benefits him in the long run. I think that he feels like, he could take a lot of that power and he just tries to take all steam out of your power. So he could possibly not be getting fully hit with your biggest shots. So he's getting grazed, but it's not your big hit, and he maneuvers pretty well. You know, so I mean, honestly, is he a top five fighter right now? As far as skill set, in my opinion, yes. As far as skill set, I don't think that you could really um at least top 10, because I think I can name five guys that skill set might be a little bit better, but this is overall in the sport of boxing, right? He a top 10 fighter? Yes, in my opinion, he is. Is he a pound for pound fighter? No, he is not. And I think that that's why we don't see eye to eye with Stephen A. Smith. He's not a top five pound for pound fighter. He's not even a top 10 pound for pound fighter. But is he a top 10? Uh, does he have the skill set of a top 10 fighter? He does. And like I said, the only thing that is not I'm not giving him full credit is the accolades and the age. How much longer does Gervonta Tank Davis really have? I mean, he possibly has to, like, he's 35, probably 5, 6 more years left in him, you know what I mean? But he's gonna have to start fighting these guys. He's gonna have to start fighting these guys. And I think that a lot of people just agree with, his resume not being up to par. It's not up there, and it's not anything. I don't think nobody is really talking about his skill set. It's not really a skill set thing. It's none of that. It's mostly just, dog, just fight the dudes, bro. You have the skill set to beat all these guys. You could do it. It's not like you can't. Dog, Gervonta St. Davis, he's the biggest threat to anybody. It don't matter who it is. He is a huge threat inside of that ring. So Vasily Lomachenko might be next. And I've got Gervonta Tank Davis winning by KO. You know, I don't think that Vasily Lomachenko is gonna tire out. I don't think that any of that, but I think that Gervonta Tank Davis' power is just gonna be a little too much for a guy like Lomachenko, who's very small. Obviously years ago, Lomachenko actually wanted to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, and is still willing to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. You know, and this will be it will be a huge fight for Gervonta Tank Davis and for Vasily Lomachenko, because imagine if Vasily Lomachenko could pull out a W against a Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, that's huge, you know. And you talking about an elite skill set versus an elite skill set, you know. Unfortunately, yeah, Lomachenko is on the older side of things, and he doesn't have the power to really uh, compete with Gervonta St. Davis. In my opinion, the skill set, yes, but I feel like the guy that's gonna be able to beat Gervonta Tank Davis is a guy that's gonna not give a fuck, go in there and just slug it out with him. And I think that that's the type of dude that's gonna be able to beat him. Somebody that's gonna be able to keep him going backwards instead of going front, being on his front foot. Somebody who has a really great chin, and like I said, the only person I really see being able to beat Gervonta Tank Davis is a guy like Isaac Cruz. Now, skill set wise, Isaac Cruz does lack a lot more skill set than Gervonta Davis, and that's why he was able to pull out a victory over Isaac Cruz. But a lot of people felt like that was a true draw, or Isaac Cruz winning, you know, and that would be a very good fight to watch again. But will it happen? I don't think so. I don't think that fight will ever happen again. It just poses too much of a threat. You're talking about a guy with an iron chin who's slugging at you the whole time, who's smaller, so the target zone is not always going to be there. His head's always there, but he could take those punches like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Um, Other than that, I can't really see a jabber beating Gervonta Davis. I can't see like Shakur Stevenson. I can't see a Lomachenko. I can't see a Devin Haney. I can't see any of those types of guys being able to beat him. They don't have they all three don't have something in common, that they don't have any type of power to keep him at bay. You know what I mean? So soon as he starts getting hit with your best shots, and he's like, yeah, these dudes don't really got much for me. He's gonna keep coming forward and slugging at you the whole time, and his power's gonna just wear you the fuck down. And that's where a lot of these fighters get 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 hurt. Like Frank Martin, he was able to keep him at bay for a little bit, but it's like a flick of the switch. You know what I mean? It's time to go. The second half of the fight, you know, he's not. He's just coming at you just to take your head off. And I think that that's what we saw. And the body shots definitely wore down Frank Martin, and that's all she wrote. So in my opinion, I think that only Isaac Cruz can really pose some type of threat to a Gervonta Davis. But skillfully, yeah, Gervonta Davis blows Isaac Cruz out of the water. He doesn't have the skill set, but the mindset of Isaac Cruz, the type to bite down on his mouth guard, you know what I'm saying, and go to work. That's what I think that gives Gervonta Davis a lot of trouble. A Teofimo Lopez could pose some trouble, but ultimately, I think that he also gets the Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, would have to hurt Gervonta Davis in the early rounds and really have him hurt and try to get him out quick. Other than that, I think that the longevity game, trying to go 12 rounds with Gervonta Tank Davis, is just it's gruesome for you as a fighter, because the power is there the whole time. It carries to the 12th. So he's gonna be on you at all times. And for a guy like Teofimo Lopez, it's got to be from round one. You have to go out there and slug it, because if not, the longer it takes, the bigger the knockout's gonna look. You know what I'm saying? And that's just from experience of watching Gervonta Tank Davis. The longer that this dude that you take to get knocked out against Gervonta Davis, the bigger the knockout it is. Top five fighter, skill wise, yes. Top 10 skill wise, yes. Top 10 pound for pound, no, no. You gotta have accolades. You can't just allow somebody to be in there just because they're very, very good and they draw out a big crowd. You know what I'm saying? Could he potentially be the face of boxing? Yeah, he could potentially be the face of boxing next. After Canelo Alvarez, and he could transition to that. Why? Because he brings out the fans. He has a a fan friendly uh, style. He has everything. You know what I mean? He has a good smile. His press conferences are really good. A lot of good trash talking. A lot of things that get people to want to watch. And then when you get inside of the ring, you show out. You know what I mean? And that's what fans want to see. That's truly what fans want to see from fighters. I like fighters like that. You know it's entertainment all around. You know what I mean? And that's why his stock is so high. That's why fans want to go watch his fights because he's that good of a fighter. Because he puts on entertainment. He's very entertaining for the fans. So I think that Gervonta Davis, he could potentially be the face of boxing. I mean, honestly, I think he's like a fight or two away. If he beats the top names, if he could beat a Shakur Stevenson, if he could beat a Lomachenko, if he could beat a Teofimo Lopez or something like that, he's well on his way, man. I mean, the sky's is the limit for Gervonta Davis. I don't think that anybody will be able to stop him after that. I think that was if he gets past, if he could fight another Isaac Cruz again, yeah. I mean, come on now. That's the fight I really want to see is Isaac Cruz, Gervonta Davis again. I think that's like the best stylistic matchup uh, for Gervonta Davis. I think all the other guys will probably take a loss against Gervonta Davis. You know, you talking about Isaac Cruz might not be all the way skillful, might not be all the way there. You know what I'm saying? But he could take you to the long game. He could go the long game with Tank. You know what I'm saying? And it could go either way. You know what I mean? That's a very 50-50 fight. But stylistically, I think he beats everybody else. His power is just too much. He's just too much. When he turns it up, it's too explosive. You when he turns it up, you starting to come down. You know what I'm saying? You're so comfortable in your seat. As a fighter, you so comfortable going through the motions now that you're like, oh, this is super easy, and he gives you that confidence where it's like, oh, okay, I got his ass. I got his ass. And then, and look, at times, Gervonta Davis even looks fucking lost in the ring. He looks lost when he goes to the corner. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he just looks lost, but he knows how to bring it back and how to show out, and I think that's what makes him a great fighter at the end of the day. Um, I want to put him in that pound for pound list. I just think that his accolades just don't match up. He's too old not to have any of those accolades. He's too old not to have gone for any of that stuff. Think about it, man. He had the chance to have like a legacy, a legacy. I'm talking about huge legacy, in a an iconic legacy. You know what I'm saying? Um, like a Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Because he's a heavy hitter. He's a heavy hitter. He's a heavy hitter who has the entertainment factor, man, and the fans love it. Man, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified. Let me know what you think. Is Gervonta Tank Davis top five? Is he a pound for pound fighter? Is he a top 10? Where does he rank in your pound for pound list if you have him on your pound for pound list? Uh what do you feel that Gervonta Tank Davis needs to do in order to crack a top 10 pound for pound list? Um and and, and we out, man. Peace.